Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I jumped in a few minutes early. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure you were going to be here.
Yeah. Yay. Yeah. So we'll get started in a minute, but thanks again for yesterday. That was awesome. We're really excited.
Me too.
And yeah, we're really, really happy that you're open to us coming to the conference. I think it'll be a really good session.
I think our industry will definitely benefit from people like you who are open to trying out new technologies and evaluating it and seeing, give us some feedback on, okay, this is useful, this is not useful. That's
Right.
helpful.
Cool. Yeah, so we can actually get started. It's 4 o'clock. So usually what I do is I'll count three, two, one, just to make it easy for me to edit the video, and then I'll just start going into the questions.
Sure.
Sound good? Okay. So ready? Three, two, one. Hi, welcome to our session. The first question that I always ask people that I'm interviewing is, what is your name and what is your connection to marketing, education, and AI?
Hello, my name is Farrokh Mansouri, and I I guess my relationship with education and AI go way back because I have an academic background and I actually was an intern in Jeff Hinton's lab back when he was just working on one of the foundation of neural net. So I was exposed back then. I didn't really work in that area, but I remember labeling images and saying this is a dog, so we can train the AI so to recognize that's a dog and that's a cat. So it goes way back when I was in an undergrad at university. But then over the years, of course, this is a very fundamental technology for all of the things that I've done over my career. So this has been around, and then marketing. So I've been at Com. Hello, hi, Stefan. I have been at Com for about 2.5 years, and that's where I started applying technology to marketing. That's how I got exposed to marketing. And part of my role is to educate the industry about new tech and how we can leverage it uh, to really help out of home advertising. And the landscape is really changing and it's becoming a lot more tech focused and it's not the same traditional medium that it has been in the past. It's becoming very tech focused and there's a lot better adoption of new tech. So that's where my role is actually at the focus of new tech. I guess AI is a new tech that everybody's focusing on nowadays, education of the industry and how we can apply that to marketing. So actually, I'm quite related to all these three components.
Hmm. So as a data scientist, can you actually describe what you do specifically at Comb? I know, but it probably would help people to understand what your role is there.
I guess on paper, my primary role is to take data and apply that to measurement. So we are an independent measurement body. So we provide, for example, there's a billboard here. How many people pass by this billboard? What kind of people see this billboard? Where they live? What their characteristics are? What sort of ads will resonate with them. So these are the measurements that we provide to the industry, and that's the currency that they use for conducting their business. So that's my role. There's a lot of expansion nowadays in out of home. There are boards in different location, and it makes it very tricky to measure all of these and be coherent and consistent. So that's one of my roles. I have to wear many hats, and making sure that this measurement is accurate and consistent across. That's the primary role that I have. The research team at Com does. But then there's a lot other things. Adding new measurements. For example, now we're releasing new tools. Some of them are based on AI. We're using AI for some of these tools that we're releasing. So that's another role. Basically developing new tech and understanding. Well, as the head of data science, I have to review all the data. So there's a lot of new data that comes in, and I need to look at it, make sure this sources are correct, and this data brings value to our members. And same goes with the tech and tools that are related to AI that I review, and we have to educate our members and the industry to make sure they take advantage of opportunities. And also, I wanted to mention that at AI, the conference that we are hosting, and it's going to be the third at AI conference, and that's an initiative that we started to sort of introduce our industry to AI and the new tech
Sure.
that is going to potentially change everything about how we operate as an industry. I think it's going to
Yeah,
be really revolutionary.
totally. And I guess my question is like from the first Ad AI conference till the one that's coming up in September, like what have you noticed in terms of like how people feel about AI in your industry starting back in 2022? And like what have you seen? Has there been more of a like an arc pointing up, or there isn't as much fear around AI? Like what are you kind of seeing over the last 3 years?
To be honest, I'm a big advocate for AI. You probably know that I am, and I use it every day. I'm quite heavily consumed with all the AI things that are happening. But I was hoping I would see more adoption. I would see more. Our industry is very it has a long legacy, and it comes with companies taking risk and trying new tech, and that's a big step for them, right?
Right.
Because obviously there are risks associated with adopting AI. We never know like what is going to happen to the copyright laws, or what if this thing breaks, or how is it going to make the company look from the perspective of the buyers.
Right.
I was hoping to see more adoption, but it's happening. So, for example, some major companies, when we hosted at AI first time in Toronto back in November last year, we mainly the conversation was around, okay, well, we're testing it out, we are building a policy, user policy, what our teams can use, what they cannot use. Those sort of conversations were the main topics. But now this year, coming in September, we are hearing a lot of applications like, oh, this company did this company that this. There are actual use cases of AI in our industry. There are not that many. They're very still. I'm hoping there should have been more, but still, right now there are some nuggets and evidence that we can show that, hey, look, AI is actually capable of delivering a lot of value. It can make your life a lot easier. So hopefully the message will propagate, and people will listen, and they will say, okay, maybe we should try it out as well. Let's see how it goes.
Baby steps, I guess. I mean, like I think it's kind of the Wild West out there. And so you're basically saying it's a bit slow for adoption in the out-of-home advertising industry, but people are open to ideas. And I mean, I'm excited to be speaking at the conference with Tessa just about like the efficiencies of your back office and things like that. I think that could pique some interest to people at the conference as well. Um, so how, like you've kind of touched on that you use it every day for work. So how are you using it professionally? You don't have to tell us everything, but it's always really nice to kind of hear what different members of this community, how they're using AI, just to inspire other members of the community on how they could use it on their end. So let me like, how are you using it every day?
I could be a very unique type of user, but I use it very heavily. So I time to time I have to wear my tech hat and start writing codes, and that's part of my job. So I use that very often. Nowadays, I don't even write code anymore. I just tell ChatGPT, hey, I need to write a code that takes this data and transform it into this and plot this and this and this. And it does it. It's quite good at it. the code is well written. It's actually has improved a lot over the last year from ChatGPT 3.5 to 4, and it's improved significantly. And that's one of the first initial things that I tried with ChatGPT, and that was kind of oh, this is actually a really cool tech. I should use that more. That was the sign that I needed to see. But then aside from that, we use it for a lot of ideation processes. Like we have publications, we do a lot of research projects, research studies, and say, okay, well, these are the topics we want to do. Give us
Mhm.
some ideas, and then we work it into our creative process, ideation process, and those have been really helpful. We actually picked Ad AI, the name of the conference, helping with the help of ChatGPT. So that was
Oh,
really,
nice.
yeah. So we recently built a chatbot called Billbot. So his name is Billbot. It's a robot that talks about billboards. So their name is Billbot, and a lot of the components in that chatbot was built based using AI. So the graphics, the character that represents the chatbot, the voice, the a lot of most part of the code that runs in the back end of the chatbot is written by AI. So there's we do because we're a small company, we're a small team,
Mhm.
and we want to be very efficient. And that's one of the ways that we can stay efficient and be very productive is by using AI and being able to do that. Of course, I always use it for tasks like proofreading. I'm partially dyslexic, so I like sometimes when I have a big chunk of text, I can't. It's very hard for me to go through the whole thing, so I ask it to for a summary and
That's
some
amazing.
comes out of it. Yeah, so it definitely helped me be a lot faster with reading and interpreting and summarizing things. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a really interesting observation. Like I think it is helping people that, the fact that it's hard to absorb a wall of text. I mean, whether dyslexic or not, like I find sometimes like having that summarization is helpful. And like I'm a huge fan of Claude right now. Like Steven knows that. I talk about it constantly, and I find Claude like when if I the more I feed it, so if there was a big wall of text and I was just like, I can't process this, I just need, if I put it into Claude, it always like helps to like it hits all the right points. So I totally get that. And that's awesome. In terms of your personal life, I'm just curious to see if you use AI at all. Cause like, I'll give you an example. We interviewed one of my colleagues, Dan, who basically, has a database of everything that's in his kitchen, and he will ask, AI to tell him what he should make for dinner that night for him and his wife based on what he actually has existing in the kitchen right now, which is super amazing, and very nerdy, but I love it. And I'm just wondering how you're using AI on a personal level.
Well, one of the funnest examples I can share with you is I have two daughters, and they're crazy about princesses. They're 3 and 4. So princesses like princess dresses, princess characters. So one fun thing that we sometimes do is they come up with, what if a princess was on the moon and riding a pink horse and had so we create these images, and they're quite fun. So
I
this is
love
very
that.
entertaining. Yeah.
And how are you using like Midjourney for that, or like what do you use to create these? Because I think parents that'll be listening in on this interview would be interested to hear this.
We only use ChatGPT has the capability. I guess
Yeah.
we use that. I mean, I guess it would be equivalent to using Midjourney. It's just ChatGPT has that text processing, so I don't have to type out every detail. It will just come up with like I say, well, take, for example, describe Cinderella. How does it look like? And then, add this other features to Cinderella. So it does that quite well.
That's amazing. They must love that. Like it's like all their ideas coming to life so easily and so quickly.
Yeah, so they really find it entertaining. So it's been a lot of fun.
Oh my God, I'm sure it is. I'd love to see some of those.
I'll send you some examples.
Yeah, I'd love that. Okay, so the next question is, what do you fear most about changes that AI will bring? I know you're a big AI fan, but is there any sort of things that you're concerned about or, something that seems a little iffy that you're hearing about?
Well, I'm not a big fan of those, uh, ideas of like AI taking over the world and there's apocalyptic approaches like AI is gonna create Terminator. I don't believe in any of those stories and but there are risk associated and I want to maybe highlight a few that came up in many conversations that I've had.
Mhm.
One of the I guess most immediate one is the people are going to be very very efficient using these technologies and as a result, the expectation from individual workers is going to increase significantly. So, maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you would not expect a person to be very efficient at their work. Like, maybe it has gone double, triple. But with AI, you're probably going to even multiply that by another factor of 10 and that might produce a ton of responsibility and pressure on workers. So I think that's a big risk. So we're gonna have a lot of stressed people that dealing with so many different projects. And of course, with the AI, you can actually do a lot of things. Like, for example, I can build apps without having a whole team of software developers now because I can just write my code with AI. But again, then I have to think about all aspects of the code. I need it
Yeah.
will be a ton of responsibility, and I think that will apply a lot of stress to the workforce. Uh, so that's I think that's going to be very prevalent very soon once we start adopting these tools. Other risks that I think about quite often is, and we have seen this before, ChatGPT and these LLMs becoming very popular, is the biases in the
Yes.
in the AI models, right? I've seen it firsthand, before LLMs were very popular many years ago, 3, 4 years ago, we were discussing how, you know, I worked in a different area. I worked in a transit software,
Mhm.
and our data may have had some biases. And because we use that data to train our models, it would exaggerate those biases. So think about, how that might impact other things, right? That data errors in the data, the biases we have in the data might create systems that inherently are biased, and that is dangerous, right? That
Right.
might, we might see it in the justice system. We might see it in many areas. And nowadays, everybody wants to adopt AI, so they need to be aware of this risk because that could become very very dangerous at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The one thing that I did want to ask you is, has AI ever hallucinated for you? Like, have you ever asked AI a question and it made something up completely?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I so before I signed up for ChatGPT, I was using their playground. So there I could play with the temperature. So
Right.
you can, it was
Oh,
actually fun to, make it hallucinate a lot or like be very factual. And it was like the zero temperature was quite boring, the responses it would produce. But
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
when you increase this, it can hallucinate a lot. So like you might end up doing things that I didn't even ask for it. And it's it it happens, but it's with the new models, I think it's a lot less. I imagine they have safeguards and systems in place to avoid dangerous hallucinations. But some hallucination is good because that's the creative process. Like I hallucinate to come up with some design or things, right? So it's
That's
it's
true.
our fundamental way of creativity. That's how I think about it.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I never thought of it that way. Because, like, yeah, like creative people need to kind of like stretch the boundaries. And yeah, I totally get what you're saying there. That makes sense. But like, I know with my like one experience I had was with Gemini, and it was a while ago. Like it was like 3 months ago, and I'd asked it for for case studies. And it completely made up the companies, and it completely made up everything about the case study. And I looked it up, and confronted um I confronted it about it. I was like, you just made that up completely. And they're like, yes, you're right, I did. Like it was weird how it just kind of like matter of fact was like, yes, I did make that up completely. And no, you can't use it. And it just felt like I was being like, I felt hurt, if that makes sense. Like I felt slighted. Like it was like a human being that I caught in a lie, and that they didn't, they were kind of like glossing over the fact that they just, you know what I mean? Like it felt weird.
Yeah, no, that's true. I've had similar examples in the code, like it would, but then the nice thing about code generated by AI is that you can just run it and have, test cases where it tests it and it makes sure it does it that way. But I see what you mean. And one of the things I've noticed is that these tools are designed to please you, right? The output is all the feedback that they are given is always like, do you like this response? So they're always trying to make you happy. So when I ask a question and I'm looking for critique, or I'm looking for like, say, oh no, this text is completely bad, you need to rewrite the whole thing, it would not do that. It was like, oh, it's pretty good, you have done a good job writing it, here's some suggestions. But it would not never give me an honest critique. So that's another thing that I have felt, uh, and I think it could be misleading.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Um, what do you hope AI can improve our lives in the near future? And I mean, you've already kind of touched on it, but is there anything like outside of what we talked about? Like maybe it's in other areas like healthcare or whatever. Like what do you hope that AI can improve in our lives?
Well, every job has, and I think it's a lot around, my answer is going to be around our jobs mainly, but of course it's going to have impacts in all aspects our lives. But around our jobs, there's a lot of different types of tasks, like responding to standard emails, those like, reviewing this text, making sure it's properly written, and the tone of the text is correct. Like all those things that I don't like to do, I'm hoping it will be automated so I don't have to do them. But then there are tasks that I like, like ideation, system design, those creative processes. I really like them. I enjoy doing those kind of work. So I want to have more time to focus on those tasks and not have to do with the boring, routine things. So that's my dream. So maybe one day I will have a co-pilot that does all that. Maybe attend some meetings for me as well when I don't feel like joining those.
It's so funny when you say that. Like sometimes my autopilot goes into meetings that I can't go to. And then I love like the fact that it summarized what was covered in the meeting, and I don't have to watch the whole recording of the meeting. But I've heard other people like say, my pet peeve is when I see like 20 autopilots going into a meeting. They find it like really jarring to see all of these autopilots going in. But I'm with you. Like it's all about efficiency. And I think that I've know because I use AI all the time, and what I've noticed is that it allows me more mental space to think more creatively, think about solutions a lot easier, and I'm not bogged down with the um, hours and hours of doing certain tasks that AI has been able to open up my world and allow me to work a lot quicker and accomplish a lot more in a smaller amount of time. So I'm with you on that 100%. That's awesome. Um, okay, last question, and it's very important, is in your mind, in your opinion, What is the best sandwich? We always
Oh,
ask this question.
yeah. So, uh, I mean,
Oh, you didn't prepare for this one, did you?
no,
Like, oh, I don't know the answer to this.
yeah, I mean, I'm not, I don't have a very sophisticated palate for food and stuff, so I'm gonna, be very, simple.
But if you say peanut butter and jam, like I don't judge.
No, I'm not gonna say that, but I like tongue sandwich, beef tongue sandwich. It's one of
Oh, never
my
heard of that.
yeah, so I think some cultures have it and it's quite delicious. It becomes it's higher in protein, very nutritious, and
Yeah.
you can have it with mayo and different sauces, and it's just very delicious in a baguette, and that's my favorite. You can get it in a few locations in Toronto.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Like off the top of your head, is there somewhere where I can try this said sandwich? Because I want to try it now.
I guess Persian restaurants might have.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Oh, awesome. Okay. Like I know there's a whole like sort of Persian neighborhood like north of
yeah,
Shepherd, like at Young.
yeah,
So yeah, I have a friend who lives up there. So I'll have to ask her about it and see if she wants to go sometime. That's awesome. Um yeah, so listen, I wanted to thank you for your time. This has been really helpful and this is like we interviewed my colleague JF Ampramos, who is a data strategist. So, interviewing a data scientist has been, that's also really exciting to me. I like talking to you guys because you guys are doing the good work. You're doing the work that helps drive creativity and helps marketers really understand where we need to focus our efforts. So, I have a huge respect for your knowledge and expertise. So, thank you so much for your time. And I'll be putting up the recording soon, so I'll share it with you in case you guys want to promote it too on to your channel as well.
of course. Yes. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll be
Thank
in
you so
touch. We'll
much.
talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.